Card Hunter gets ready to launch on Steam with a brand new expansion. Trion Worlds reveals a new MMO action RPG with the devil inside. Tera decides to go berserk with new skills, and Path of Exile is just about ready for the Awakening. What's happening, guys? James Blonde here with MMOHuts.com with a quick weekly recap for MMO news and announcements of the week ending July 6th, 2015. Starting out the news this week is the long-awaited female Slayer making her way to Dungeon Fighter Online, who is capable of dominating and forcing monsters to their knees with her devilish power. Now, the announcement in the new trailer you see playing here was revealed earlier last week as a teaser, so not too many details have been released just yet. But probably by the time most of you have seen this, the teaser site will be replaced and mention all kinds of new information about Act 4 and the female Slayer. According to the DFO Wiki, the female Slayer is very similar to the male Slayer, except she lacks masteries, and only the Sword Master, which is one of her subclasses, actually receives them. She also has a passive called Composure, which increases crit hit rate when not attacking, and of course she has a couple of other quirks that separate the two classes. Keep an eye out at MMOHuts.com for updated information about the new content that's coming along with the female Slayer. And on a similar note, Elsword introduced a brand new 2-in-1 playable character into the mix this past week. Lu, the Demon Monarch, and Seal, the Mob Hitman, come together as one dangerous dual character in pursuit of each and every demon that plagues the land. As a dual character, Lu and Seal introduce an entirely new style of combat. So they share one skill tree, but how each unique skill functions depends on which character is in combat. Certain skills can be used to switch between characters to increase their combination gauge, but the catch is it's you that has to keep up with the skill interactions. The idea here is that they work as one by filling in for each other's weaknesses. So Lu focuses on the up-close and personal damage, while Seal focuses on tactical approaches and keeping the enemy at bay. Seems like a really fun playstyle to me, and the new trailer is awesome, like always. Next up, we've got a new update going live for Tera tomorrow, July 7th, unofficially known as Go Berserk, in that the team is adding in a dressing room for costume previews, 3 sets of Tier 7 gear, a new dungeon, a new raid dungeon, a new battleground, and of course, new skills for the Berserkers. The new skills introduced allow for the ability to tank, which is something that a lot of players are looking forward to. That makes 3 tanks in the game now. The first of which is called Intimidation. While active, this skill generates aggro around the Berserker, increases attack aggro, and reduces crits. But this skill also alters several other existing skills, adding new effects that increase aggro, decrease damage, and restore health. But in total, there are 5 new skills for the Berserker, great for tanking, and available at level 65. Also available at level 65, you can now take on the new Timescape dungeon, or get fired up in Acheron's Inferno, the new 10-player raid dungeon. Other than that, the new dressing room system is arriving in this update, like I mentioned, that lets you preview costumes, not only the ones that you already own, but also all that are available in the game. And the same thing goes with weapon skins, mounts, and pets. So there's a decent amount of content coming into this update, so pick up all the details at the site post at MMOHuts.com. Also last week, Cabal 2 officially launched, free-to-play, and is now widely available on PC. And for those of you who are not quite caught up, Cabal 2 has adopted a new combo system over the original Cabal that will, according to the COO at EST Soft, not only appeal to the already huge dedicated fanbase of the first game, but also to all MMO players in general by proving that battling doesn't have to be a grind. That's always nice. Other than just that, Cabal 2 features combat that is fluid and skill-based, but also offers all the depth and strategy players would expect in a genuine MMORPG. The game is ready for download now, but you can also expect to see me in-game bringing you guys a first look very soon. Apparently a lot has changed since the last closed beta. So in last week's recap, I didn't quite have a date just yet, but recently the Alod's team and Obsidian Entertainment announced an open beta date for Skyforge. Starting on July 9th, players who purchased Founders Packs will be able to make their first permanent step towards godhood, so no more wipes. And after this week-long early access period, any and all other players will be able to join the open beta, which starts on July 16th, and anyone signing into the game between the 16th and 23rd can actually get their hands on a unique mechanic costume. According to the official site post, once the open beta has been successfully launched, you can expect additional updates and features to come in the following weeks before launch, which doesn't exactly have a date just yet. The game has been in some sort of beta for about 8 months now, and so much has changed already. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how it plays now. More news from My.com and Obsidian Entertainment. Armored Warfare introduces its PvE mode this past week, where teams of 4 to 5 players battle against AI vehicles in interesting story-driven missions. These new PvE battles will be part of the new mission system introduced in Early Access 3, which is going on now through July 14th, where players will be able to accept contracts with certain plot backgrounds. Each contract consists of 3 missions that are bound together by a background story and are taking place all over the world. There are various types of objectives in these missions, including defending certain areas, destruction of enemies, or the capture of certain objects, and besides having the choice of easy, medium, and hard difficulties, the bots in these missions have suffixes on their names to help players determine their quality and overall difficulty. Check out the new PvE gameplay trailer you see playing here to get a feel for what to expect. On a similar note, a hefty new update found its way into War Thunder this past week, known as the Cold Steel update. This update brings in the first winter-based map, over 24 new vehicles, and tons of high-quality changes. The damage indicator in-game has been upgraded, making it a lot easier to determine what components are damaged. The new Enduring Confrontation game mode was introduced, allowing all players to experience the longevity of conflict with the infinite respawns and the ability to join a battle that is already in progress. In this game mode, the teams compete for points. The more a team shoots down aircrafts, destroys ground turrets, captures points, and completes additional tasks, the more points and closer to a victory the team will get. The new Finland map gives War Thunder its first taste of a truly winter environment, full of deep snow, icy water, and frozen ground. So with the 28 new vehicles, remodels, a new game mode, bug fixes, and a brand new wintry map, it makes sense why this update is called Cold Steel. Also joining the list of games going into open beta is World of Warships, my personal favorite war game. It too has been in a testing type state for a while now and has finally made the transition this past Thursday. Now the cool thing here is that if you've played quite a bit of the closed beta, you get rewarded in the open beta in various ways. For example, if you played 49 battles during the closed beta, you can unlock the USS Arkansas in the open beta. They've also taken away everyone's EXP, but they're returning it based on how many battles you've played as well. Other than that, they have this really awesome new cinematic trailer that you see playing here, and I can say that the gameplay itself, from experience, can be as intense as what you see in the trailer. So if you haven't tried the game out just yet, now is the time, and you should. You owe it to yourself to experience the difference between it and any other war game. Next up is the first god with combos, essentially. Smite introduces Ravana, the Demon King of Lanka. Ravana is a warrior with high single target damage, high sustain, and brutal combos. His passive, Chain of Blows, adds to Ravana's combo chain with each successive hit within 5 seconds, allowing Prana Onslaught, his first ability, to do an additional 7.5% damage for each hit in the combo, up to a maximum of 60% total. His overhead kick sends a shockwave of damage forward in a line and renders him unable to be damaged during the action, and if that's not enough, his Tin-Hand Shadow Fist ability damages enemies and heals Ravana based on damage dealt. But his ultimate, on the other hand, is fairly tactical. With this, he rushes to a single target of choice, damaging them and knocking aside all other enemies in his path. Now the target is then linked to Ravana, doing full damage to him while all other enemies do reduced damage. You tie this in with his combos, and it should be very useful. Interesting news came in recently for Card Hunter, an online fantasy hybrid between a collectible card game and Dungeons & Dragons board game that could easily cater to old-school tabletop and board game fans. The news is it's coming to Steam later on this month and bringing with it a new expansion called Expedition to the Sky Citadel, which introduces a new game master known as Cardotron 2000, who the developers promise is guaranteed 100% bug-free and will definitely never ever lose its mind and raise an army of mutants and rebellious robots. So expect crazy new cards with new game mechanics to exploit, along with a host of new items and fearsome new opponents. The new expansion will be available simultaneously with Card Hunter's launch on Steam later this month. An exact date will be announced soon, and it will be playable with the new Steam client as well as the existing browser client, so existing players will not have to worry about account swapping. Also this past week, a new game was revealed by Trion Worlds called Devilian, which is an action RPG similar to Path of Exile, or better yet, War of the Immortals. Well, it's more like an MMO with RPG elements. The game currently has 4 classes, the Evoker, the Shadow Hunter, the Cannoneer, and the Berserker, each with their own characteristics and playstyles as you would expect in an ARPG. Additionally, each character has a Devilian mode, which is a supercharged mode that comes with its own armor, equipment, and skill sets. And in order to access this form, players must collect Devil Souls by killing monsters. So it's kind of like the Val skill gems in Path of Exile, if you're familiar. And players wanting to PvP can not only participate in guild battles, but also in open world PvP and Rift events, along with 3 vs 3 and 20 vs 20 player battles. In PvP areas, players can possibly expect to see up to 200 players battling out at once. But that being said, PvP is optional, and open world PvP is only in certain areas, leaving the rest of the game a safe zone. Luckily, we got a chance to talk to Trion about the game, and they dumped a lot of details on us, so check the links below for our press preview impressions and overview coverage, and you'll see why we're looking forward to the alpha and beta tests coming later on this year. And since I mentioned Path of Exile, I saved the best for last. Grinding Gear Games announced last week the official launch date for The Awakening, the latest and most impressive expansion being introduced to Path of Exile. The expansion is set to launch on July 10th next week and is so unique that they've had a special development team working on this content since the launch of Path of Exile itself. The Awakening adds in Act 4, containing new and really gory areas, monsters, 6 boss fights, 5 previously unannounced skills, 13 in-game maps, 2 new challenge leagues, and of course a new multi-stage in-boss that you are actually really familiar with in the Path of Exile's lore if you keep up with it. On top of that, so many players will be happy to know that desync is a thing of the past. The developers have literally replaced the system with a new lockstep system that will basically purify anyone's experience, seeing that desync is literally the only thing bad about the game. I recently had the chance to talk to PoE's lead designer, Chris Wilson, about all kinds of new features coming to the new expansion, and I'm going to be bringing you guys a nice preview video really soon, so keep an eye out for that. I go into a lot of details about the death of desync and a whole lot more. I promise you, though, this time around you're in for a treat. Anyway, guys, that's about it for all the major MMO news and announcements for this week. Thanks for the birthday wishes in last week's recap. You guys are awesome. Like always, if you're looking for more information about the news featured in the recap, check the links in the description below or head over to the new MMOHuts.com for even more MMO news. Feel free to discuss the news in the comments below or head over to MMOHuts.com/forums. And until next time, guys, that's going to be it from me. I'm James Blonde. See you out there, gamers.